Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Sounds of the Diaspora, Artist to Artist, conversation with yours truly, Dion Parson. I'm really excited about tonight's show because I have a guest on tonight that's someone that I've gotten to know over the past couple of years, and he's an amazing gentleman. He's trumpeter, conductor, educator, and he's gone on to become the director of educational partnerships and sales for North America for the Conselmer Company. Please join me in welcoming to Sounds of the Diaspora, Dr. William Earvin.
Hey, what's going on, Dion?
I'm good, man. How you doing, Doc?
I'm good, man. It feels funny, man. I'm used to being on that side of this.
I know. I kind of switched things around on you, huh?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
Yeah, but it's good, man. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to come and hang out with us here at Sounds of the Diaspora.
Absolutely, man. I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Yes, sir. So let's jump right into it, man. You're a trumpeter by nature. You've been playing trumpet, your life, and that led you down the road to many different things. But let's just start there. I mean, how did you get into the trumpet? When did you pick that up?
Man, the amazing thing, I started music education in the Atlanta public schools in third grade.
Right.
And it was not on the trumpet.
Oh, it wasn't? Okay.
It was not on the trumpet. It was on the tenor saxophone. It was on the tenor saxophone, and that was wild. At that time, I was not this size, man. So I didn't. The tenor saxophone was definitely bigger than I was, and traveling with that thing on the school bus and walking to school and all those things didn't work out during that time. So I switched, and believe it or not, in fourth grade, I was on drums.
Okay.
Fourth grade, I was on drums. Really loved the drums from being in the church and hanging with the drummers and the rest of the band, the gospel band, all that good stuff. But I settled in on a trumpet in fifth grade.
Okay.
With my band director at that time was Mr. William Strickland, still good friend and mentor of mine. He's still in the Atlanta area, so that was my first band director, and I stuck with it, man. From then on, that was it. Of course, did choir and all that kind of stuff because you had to in elementary school. But trumpet, man, it was great. So
trumpet is it
all the way through. Middle school, played all the way through. Realized in middle school that I wanted to be a band director. The band director there was Mr. Bobby Williams, and then I went to high school at Mays High School in Atlanta, Georgia, and my band director there was Sumner Smith, and he is still a good friend and mentor of mine as well. Tried to talk to him often. His birthday was just earlier this month, just a couple of weeks ago. So just definitely connect with him as much as possible. So stayed with trumpet all the way through, and went from graduating from high school, then going to college at Clark Atlanta University, where I really got to learn how to play the trumpet with my applied teacher, the late John Head, who was the principal trumpeter for the Atlanta Symphony at one time, as well as a conductor of the Atlanta Ballet Orchestra. And he was my trumpet professor, and learned a lot from him, and got a chance to play in the Clark Atlanta University Jazz Orchestra. That's where life really taught me the music that I really have come to love and listen to daily. If you think about a music that just really is, top of mind, top of heart for me, it is definitely jazz.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, is as I'm hearing you speak and knowing who you are is really interesting, because you really live all the things you've said. Being a band director, a band director is someone that really understands the nature of our musical world, and being a performer as well on the level that you've been playing at is really, it transcends when you become an educator to mentor your kids to a certain level as well. But you've taken it. I mean, you're a concert band, symphonic band, conductor, marching band. That's why I really wanted you on the show.
Yeah, you wanted to talk about marching band, but it's so much more to it.
Yeah, exactly. It's so much more to it, and the more I've gotten to know you through our partnership and relationships, we'll get to that later. But I'm like, wow, man, this brother covers like everything when it comes to the musical, as far as education is concerned, because that's like a lot of folks don't really understand how in-depth music education is, and that's a conversation I really want to have with you, because there's a number of conferences and seminars and conventions going on a regular basis that people don't know about. And that's
Man, it's a whole world. I mean, got a couple of friends of mine that we had this discussion a few years ago, about what the textbook didn't teach us when we were in school.
exactly.
Jack Eady and Marcus Morris, who are on the staff over at the University of Georgia, we talked about this on another podcast, almost like this one.
Mhm.
And it's so much more into doing the job of being a music educator. I prefer to say music educator than just band director, because
Right.
you want to be able to do more than just one thing. You don't want to be able to just do band only. I had to teach music history and choir at one time in my career, so you have to be able to do multiple things. But it's so many different aspects and things that you have to learn, things that you have to experience, things that you have to try out on your own. I'm a brass player, but I had to get down and learn how to play over the break on the clarinet, just so I can teach my clarinet players how to do it. So all those things are really important. And yeah, I have students that have blown past anything that I could do performance-wise. I mean, I've talked about one of my students who also went to University of Georgia. He's out there now as the assistant principal percussionist for the LA Field, and I taught him like 8th grade through 12th grade. He's just amazing. But to see students like him, and there are others that have gone on to do so many great things, it's rewarding. The job is definitely rewarding. The career definitely is different than anything else that you can imagine. And it does allow you to still be a performer. I still love playing with the Clark Atlanta University Alumni Jazz Orchestra on a regular basis, and love playing with friends around here in Houston and as well as back home in Atlanta, Georgia.
That's great, man. That's great. And I think I applaud you, because you said you have students that have gone on to do other things. When you think of like being a musician, and everybody thinks, I want to be on stage, I want to be that superstar, but somebody have to get them there.
True.
And I think, the unsung heroes to me in the music business are the music educators.
That's true. And it's going to help us as the music educator and others throughout life as well, because I have family members that's dealing with some health issues and things like that, and they need to talk to certain kinds of doctors and this, that, and the other, and I'm able to steer them. And they're like, how do you know these doctors? Because I taught them. They were in the band. Now
Right. Right.
now
You taught the kids. So,
So I can call them and say, hey, it helps out tremendously. And it's you're building more than just future musicians. You're building good citizens for the future.
Right. And that's something to be said. Yeah.
They play instruments in your band program, and everybody's not going to be a professional musician, but they are going to be professional something.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
So you want to make sure that they're the best at what they do.
Right. And just briefly about the marching band situation. A lot of kids, like here in the Virgin Islands, like, yeah, we want to go to this school, we want to go to school, we want to march. And marching band is a great representation for any institution. It's the face of most institutions, especially HBCUs. But 80% of the band is non-music majors, and a lot of people don't realize that. A lot of folks don't realize that the marching band is like folks that came out of high school, like you mentioned. They want to go into medicine, they want to go into chemistry, they want to go into computers, but that's something that they love, and it brings a whole nother level of connectivity to these folks just to have that experience as they go through their collegiate years.
Absolutely. And the scholarships that those students are able to get for marching in the band are definitely going to be different at HBCUs and other institutions,
right?
Because that entity is the face of the school, and it's so popular. HBCU marching bands, I mean, they are the pinnacle of what we look for when we look at HBCUs. You probably look at bands before you look at athletic programs. It's like, hey, academic, we got some Bill Gates scholars, and then we got the marching band. It's just like that. It's like that, man. And I'm fortunate now in the position I'm in to be able to help all of the marching bands and all the schools.
Right.
I'm also in a prime position to be able to specifically help the HBCUs around the country. There are a great number of HBCUs that are still dealing with the inequity of resources that the schools have for their fine arts programs, which include the instrumental music programs. So we at Con Selmer myself personally, as well as my own vision, as well as the mission and vision of the company, are to help every student have access to music education.
Right.
So it means, where there are deficits in resources, we have to be creative and help them find where to get those resources. And we've been working very hard to do that. We have a number of HBCU partners that we work with, and the numbers continuing to grow. And we have a number of non-HBCU partners, and those numbers are continue to grow because we want that access to be there for those students. Somebody's got to be the next band and choir director or orchestra director later on down the line. So why don't we help them? Because we're not going to be in those classrooms. We gotta have the future out there to do it.
Right, definitely. And here at the University of the Virgin Islands, in the U.S. Virgin Islands, we want to thank Conselma personally for their assistance, because after our hurricanes in 2017, Conselma was right there at the beginning to come and just what do you guys need, and we really appreciate that outreach that they brought to us and help us to get restructured again. And we're looking to do more partnerships with Conselma in the future. As you could tell, we have a great presentation going on in the British Virgin Islands right now, and I want to thank you especially and Mike Campus for your assistance in making that happen as well.
Man, I mean, this opportunity that we've been working on, this initiative in the British Virgin Islands, has really been eye-opening for me personally, and for the company, to see how engaged and how important music education is to all the stakeholders in the community there.
Yeah.
Our first trip over there at the beginning of the school year was interesting, man. It was hot, it was different. You were trying to prep me for the culture, and I get over there, man. I'm like, man, this place is beautiful. We're looking out, looking over the water, and then you have the schools, the teachers coming in to learn how to teach better, and they're excited about doing so. It wasn't, I'll be honest. The first day they were like, man, we got to meet new people. We got to. By the time we got to that third day, we were all sad. It's sad to have to leave each other.
Right.
And then, to be able to come back in October, February, and May, and really bring PD to another level with those schools. I'm sure the Minister of Education there understands the importance of music education, because she has totally been working with you and with us to make sure that these teachers have exactly what they need.
Oh yeah. The commitment is there, and we're looking forward to assisting to build and working on any level to make it happen. But it's just so great that I just love the mission from the Conselma company to assist on that level, man. It's just a pleasure working with you guys. So we're looking forward to great things. So
you got me out my shell a little bit over there, man. I had to play a little bit on a trumpet.
Yeah.
And then I had to play a little bit, with bring out all my batons. That was, man, they're making me work a little bit. But
that was great, man. That's what I said. I said, man, this cat brought the gold-plated batons and everything.
But if you're gonna do it right, you got to.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. The level of proficiency, a lot of folks just don't understand how committed you have to be. If you're gonna direct the band, then you should have that form. You should understand conducting. You should have all that stuff in place and do it right. And then again, it's not just concert band. You have the choir, you have the symphonic band, you have the wind ensemble, and then you have the marching band. And these are just different levels, and you have to approach them differently. And that's one of the things that I really appreciate, because we haven't even started talking about the jazz ensemble as yet.
No, it's definitely that's a whole. I was blessed, and have been blessed throughout the 21-year career that I had as a practicing music educator, to be able to have good jazz bands at each level. And I'm appreciative to my teacher, Professor James H. Patterson, who was the founder and still director of the Clark Atlanta University Jazz Program. He taught us a whole lot. We were blessed to have the original books, of Dizzy Gillespie and Duke Pearson and all those folks. And, we played every week, Tuesday and Thursday, for an hour and a half. That's what we did. And we loved doing it. And it became a part of who we are even today. I'm sad I was not able to make this concert that was just on this past Sunday.
Mhm.
We always do a concert right before the Thanksgiving break, and we always do a concert on the Sunday closest to Duke Ellington's birthday in April. His birthday is April 29th.
Mhm.
So we always do one the spring concert during that time. But we just really we always go back and support Dr. Patterson and the rest of the alumni and the current students who are rebuilding that program now to keep that history going. It's important. It's our music,
All right.
and nobody should want to curate and keep our music going more than us. And in order to do that, we have to really dial in and stay there, really work hard to keep that music alive.
Yeah, and that's great, man. And I really hope that audience understands the level and the magnitude that you're speaking about, because it's really important. We are, we have to sustain that. We are the sustenance of our music, and we have to pass that on to the next generation to make sure that it's sustained throughout history. So that's a beautiful thing. One of the things I wanted to ask you, so PhD, what made you decide to go and get your PhD?
Well, that's a very good question, man. I didn't expect you to hit me from that angle. Um, I guess on a personal level, it was important for me uh, to go and get it first for my children.
Okay.
Uh, uh, it always did something for me when I grew up.
Mhm.
When I was filling out applications or filling out the application on the SAT or the ACT, when I was taking it or the GRE or anything, or even the FAFSA when they're asking you the level of education of your parent.
Mhm.
And I was blessed to be able to say that my dad had a doctorate degree, and my mother had a master's degree.
Right.
Uh, and I wanted my kids to be able to say the same thing, and so they can know that they can still aim and shoot for and achieve the things that their grandparents and their parents and their uncles and aunts have achieved.
Mhm.
Uh, my first doctoral degree is in higher ed administration, namely because I wanted to follow my father's footsteps. And for a while, I did work in higher ed, working with the federally funded TRIO programs, Upward Bound Educational Talent Search, at one of the HBCUs in Louisiana. And I really enjoyed that work and completed that degree just after I finished doing that and got back into the conducting realm when I got back to teaching at Baker High School in Louisiana. And so that's the reason why I was doing that when I got an educational doctorate, doctor of education in higher ed leadership. And then I got another one. Yeah, I was glutton for punishment. A lot of my who I know are watching right now. Yeah, they laughed at me when I was doing it.
Mhm.
One of them is going through the same thing right now, so he can't laugh anymore.
Mhm.
But yeah, I got a doctorate in music education from William Carey University as well, because I did want to follow my passion as
Mhm.
well and have that information so that I can sit at the table and have the discussions with people who I've always looked up to,
Mhm.
who always looked to me to be a high achiever in the craft. And now that they see that I have the documentation and credentials to do so, we can have those conversations, and I can move the needle forward for those without resources because I have been able to attain those degrees from those institutions.
That's great, man. And kudos to you, man. Congratulations on that. I think we need more folks thinking on that level. So again, like you said, we can continue to move the needle forward
That's
on
great.
that level. Yeah, yeah, it's really great. And you're serving not only musically, but economically as well, helping to enrich the communities and the lives of the students. You mentioned teaching for 21 years. While you were in Atlanta, you taught on the collegiate level and you taught on the high school level. Can you share with our audience, what you did on both of those levels?
Yeah. So quickly, my teaching lineage started on a whim. Really, I was actually in the music industry first as the one of the store managers of what was called Mars Music back in the day.
Okay.
So as soon as I graduated from school, I was actually the manager of the band department at Mars. Would be probably equivalent to what Guitar Center is now.
Okay.
So you had guitars, you had pro audio, you had drums, you had combo, you had band and band and orchestra, and I ran the band and orchestras on at the store on Buford Highway in Atlanta, Georgia.
Mhm.
So that was what I did mostly, and that also entailed running the private lesson studios and all that kind of stuff. So that was fun, and during that time, Kind of got the call from Booker T. Washington High School in Atlanta Public Schools to come in, and really just to be the interim director of bands until they found someone to come in. So I did a semester there to hold that down. That was my first teaching job, and literally the first thing I had to teach was music history.
Okay.
And that's another discussion for another podcast.
Yeah.
Me and Grout, we don't get along.
I hear you.
but it was fun. Had a ball doing it. Got a chance to get a lot of my friends involved to help be on the staff and keep things going. But I did go back to the store to work full time and began helping out at at a school in DeKalb County, and ended up where, after a good sale that I had, I was invited to audition and interview for a position in DeKalb County, and did so. And I must say that interview was probably the scariest thing I ever did in my life.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it was wild because and I think it's important that we keep that going now. But you came in, you interviewed with the fine arts supervisor 30, 40 minutes, and then you went in front of one of the top wind ensembles in the district, and taught your arrangement and your warm-up regiment to them. And that's how that supervisor got to see if you could teach or not.
Right.
And man, you'll know if you if you can't, because the students at those schools where you were going, they knew what they were doing. And if you're not on your stuff, they'll let you know. Thankfully, I did get a job in the district and stayed there for 3 years before going to get my master's.
Okay.
And, got my master's Master of Arts in Teaching degree at Mississippi Valley State University. Yeah, the little school in Itta, Mississippi, where Jerry Rice also went. That's where we were. And I got my Master's of Arts in teaching, and met my lovely wife there. And things the rest is history, if you could say. But 3 years later, and during that time, I became a college band director at Mississippi Delta Community College, the first African American band director they ever had.
Okay.
And was able to establish a program. First time the band program ever traveled out of state. Traveled around the country with a jazz band. Opened up for numerous people, including B.B. King during the time. Morehead, Mississippi is just before you get to Indianola, Mississippi, and where B.B. King is from. So all of that, that history, that lineage is just there. Then I got an interesting call the day after I signed my contract to come back to Mississippi Delta. My old band director, Sumner Smith, that I talked about earlier, called and let me know that he was thinking of retiring, and his wife at the time was not doing well with cancer, and he wanted to spend some time with her. And so my wife and I prayed about it. We headed on to Atlanta, and I went back to my alma mater, and I was the band director there for 6.5 years before moving to Louisiana and becoming the band director at Baker High School a little later, after working at Southern University in higher ed.
Okay. Wow. So you really like hit a number of spots
in major areas, man. In major areas, and honestly, it's been a blessing in every area. There were some ups and downs. By no means was my career perfect, but it's still rewarding.
Right.
It's still rewarding, and I have students that still look out for me, call, check on me, and send me their CDs or send me their pictures or tell me how their kids are doing. And I got students whose kids have now graduated with the new director at Mays High School. And so it's just, just seeing that continue is been a blessing as well.
Right. And to be set out of that, you were able to get some, really nice accolades, being honored and for the great work that you did at those schools as well, which is great.
Yeah, I'm thankful, that people recognize not my hard work, but the hard work of the collaborative between myself, the students, and the parents, and the administrators in the neighborhood. It's a Connect Four. If you don't have all four of those entities working together, congruently, where everything is matching up, then it's going to be an uphill battle. So we were able to learn how to navigate, having an effective band booster, learning how to talk to administrators to where they want to help you and not necessarily look the other way when they see you coming down the hall to ask for something.
Right.
It was a work in progress, but it was good to see that work in progress can not only work in Atlanta, it can work in Morehead, Mississippi, it can work in Baton Rouge and Baker, Louisiana.
Right.
It's as long as you have the process, it work wherever you need to work it.
Right. And it's good that you understand the bigger picture, like engaging the parents as well. You're talking about having a successful band booster. I think a lot of times our school districts or the programs don't include the parents on a certain level, and that's your biggest, like, especially because you're teaching their kids, that's your biggest like resource right there, and support like immediately, because you get one kid will bring you at least two parents, grandparent, cousin, brother, sister, so you have a huge resource of support there that you can just borrow from that energy to help motivate the kids. So I think band booster is a major part of it. A lot of people miss that.
And when done correctly, it can literally be the lifeline of your program.
Right.
And it will set forth a track to success from not only now but in the future. There are band parents that I had back in 2003 that are still close. That I'm still close with.
Right.
At every school that I went to, there are administrators that that I've had at former schools that I consider family, because we work things out. Now, those same people, now, if you don't do stuff right, they'll be right together. I've had plenty of times where people had to get me together, but it depends. Now, if you have issues and you don't own up to it and you don't come back and do what you're supposed to do,
right,
then you're gonna be a problem. But if you can own up to it, do what you got to do, say you're sorry, do whatever, you're able to be successful later on.
Yeah, because they're gonna wait until they see you coming out of church and tell you about yourself.
Hey man, been there, done that. Got the T-shirt, brother.
Oh man, it's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. But that's why I really wanted you to be on the show, because again, as we think of being a musician, we only just think about being on stage and being a star. But for me, I think this platform is to showcase all aspects of the music industry, and I really appreciate you coming on and sharing this portion of it. Now, not to take away from the fact that you're a great trumpet player as well. So
I'm all right, and I know there's a lot of people better than me. But it was definitely trumpet to me is like being a band director. It's a labor of love. If you let it go for a second and you're not steady in your learning and your practice, and it'll catch up to you.
Right.
So you got to stay true to the game, if you will. You got to make sure you put that 30 minutes out every day to make sure that you stay up on your stuff. So I got a little 9-year-old around here that is making sure that I get ready to help him when he gets his trumpet next year, as he's playing drums right now. He's taking the same tour that I did, but he, being in Texas, he knows he wants to play trumpet. So he's going into 5th grade next year and looking forward to playing trumpet.
Okay. Well, that being said, you shared some music with us, and I want to jump into that so our audience can get an idea of like the magnitude, the scope of what you do. And this is you performing with the Clark-Atlanta University Jazz Orchestra. And this is a composition entitled Concerto for Cootie by Duke Ellington. And we're gonna play this, and then you could talk about that experience with our audience. So let's just jump right into this Concerto for Cootie. Yeah, that was Concerto for Cootie.
Man, that brings back memories, brother.
So tell us, what group is this and when was this?
That's the Clark Lang University Jazz Orchestra. That recording is probably, I would say, probably 1999, 2000.
Okay, okay.
That is after one of our European tours. The jazz orchestra did 2 tours back to back those 2 years, where we did the Montreux Jazz Festival, the North Sea Jazz Festival. We played in Vienna, France, Euro Disney, all those things, both years. So, you know, God, I'll be remiss if I did, like I shouted out Dr. Patterson earlier, but a good friend of our jazz orchestra who just passed away, Dr. Dick Dunscombe. He was very instrumental in getting our jazz orchestra over there numerous times. I think the jazz orchestra from Clark Atlanta University or our jazz tech been over there at least a dozen times in the entire history of the program, which is unheard of for HBCU to be able to do that, to go do those tours on a regular basis. Concerto for Cootie, that arrangement was or that transcription was done by a good friend of mine and trumpet player in that section, Mr. Adisa Nickerson, who is a trumpet player now. He's lives in Colorado, and he's actually the reason why you have those recordings. He makes sure we digitize those from our CDs so that you can have them. But he transcribed that for us from the Ellington recordings, and he said, "You're gonna play this part," and then I'm like, because most of the stuff that dealt with plunger, that's an art form in itself, and to be able to do some of those things, we were able to make it happen. One of my good friends, our lead alto player, Kenneth Faison, he played with us and was a part of the PD program in the BVI. He was a part of that group. The Clark Atlanta University Jazz Orchestra is historical in its own. That's a whole. I mean, if you ever wanted to do a show about Clark Atlanta University Jazz Orchestra, you'll need 4 days. I mean, there's so many trumpet players, saxophone players, drummers, bass players, piano players that have come out of that group that people know in mainstream. It was an opportunity for students my age at the time to learn our music, the history of our music, and place ourselves in that time frame. We didn't have all the resources. We didn't have a whole big, school of music. We were in the basement of a gym my first 2 years in jazz orchestra. We didn't have a band room, and then when we bought a church and renovated it and had a couple of classrooms that we put together, we were in that on the second floor of the church. The music department was, and we had a little closet where we were keeping the music of Dizzy Gillespie and Duke Pearson and Fletcher Henderson and Mary Lou Williams and all these people that have contributed their work to our program. We didn't have all the extra stuff, but every Tuesday and Thursday, you better believe we were there. Out of the group, you would find the trombone and trumpet players from Cameo and Earth, Wind and Fire. Find the saxophone players from Stevie Wonder. You would find Charles Harmon, who had Chuck Harmony, who has his own piano thing going on right now. You got Kenny Faisons. It's just a long lineage. Corey Rawls, an awesome drummer. There's so many people that came out of the jazz orchestra that it's just phenomenal to think of all the work that we've done. Phenomenal vocalists that participated with us. And, we were all family. We still communicate with each other. We have a group text that we text back and forth every day. So you have to understand that this music brought about a sense of family and connectivity. And to be able to swing and to play bebop and to, I didn't sing you giant steps. Your giant steps would have probably blown you away.
You say that for the next time.
Because Patterson wanted us all to come in playing Coltrane solo. The whole band in unison, playing a solo before we go into the chart. Who thinks it's crazy stuff like this?
Right. But hey, it works.
It works, and preparing for this interview and going back and listening to all the music, I was just like, man, I can't believe we did all that. The the recording that we had for these songs, we had 21 tracks.
Okay. Yeah.
It was hard for me to pick the 3 or 4. There's 21 tracks on that CD that we still play this stuff. Now, like when we get together, every quarter, we're playing the book. It wasn't a situation where we're just going to work on these 3 songs for the concert that we come. No, we rehearsed the book all year, and we didn't know what we were going to play on a concert until Patterson called it out at 6:50 when the concert's at 7:00.
Right.
All right, cats. Here's the set list. That things to come. Well, things to come. Come on, man. You rehearse to be able to do all this stuff. I'm blessed to be a part of an organization, even now with the Alumni Jazz Orchestra. We think back, my freshman year, we played with Lalo Schifrin. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Your former guest on this show, Paquito de Rivera, Rufus Reed, Ignacio Barrera, John Faddis.
Right.
Freshman year, I'm sitting there like, man, what is this? One of the hardest trumpet sectionals I've ever had in my life was with John Faddis.
Right. John will whip you into shape.
Man.
He'll whip you into shape in a heartbeat.
Yeah, he will.
Man, but that's great, man. We have a comment here saying sounds like the Harry James Swing Band Orchestra. I love it. That's great. But that's the Clark Atlanta University Jazz Orchestra. But you also shared some music with us where you're on the other side of things directing the band.
Yeah.
And this is from your Mays High School Jazz Orchestra. And this is a piece entitled The Nearness of You. Let's check this piece out, and then we could talk about it afterwards. The Nearness of You, Mays High School Jazz Orchestra.
All right.
The madness of you. You got a young saxophone player there, man, Dion.
Hey, man, listen. This is interesting. Let me put it to you like this. That piece, before I even get into the piece, I'm just thinking about what we talked about earlier, and I'm thinking about how many doctors are on this stage.
Yeah.
How many flight attendants.
Mm-hmm.
There are people that play in the service bands on the stage. There's a person on that stage. There's a principal trombone player in one of the orchestras in Chicago right now. There's a piano player got his master's in fine arts administration from Columbia. You know, those are the kind of people that we were teaching at that time, and that's what we're teaching as music educators. We're teaching the future that's going to allow us to be in a safe and productive environment. And when we come to this piece, that arrangement was done by Frank Houston, who was also a member of the Clark Lane University Jazz Orchestra after my time there. He was in the Clark Lane University Jazz Orchestra the 4 years after I graduated, and he's a tenor sax player, professional musician, and I reached out to him to arrange that piece for my wife. It was during Valentine's that year, and we were going to play it for the Atlanta Jazz Festival, which was after this contest that year, and that's the only time. I won't say only time, but that was the first time the piece was played publicly. The second time was at the actual Atlanta Jazz Festival, and it will be played for a third time with the Conn-Selmer Jazz Orchestra this coming summer. I get a chance to direct the Conn-Selmer Jazz Orchestra, which is comprised of the salespeople, the people in the factories, the people that make the instruments, and some of our executive team that are playing in that jazz orchestra. So we're looking forward to performing when we get there. It's a great arrangement. It's going to be published this coming year as well. So looking forward to people getting ready to play that out there. You'll get the chance to play it with jazz orchestras and jazz bands all over the country or the world. So you'll be able to look for that. Looking forward to getting Frank out there a little bit more with his arrangements, because he did a great job with that piece. And my wife is happy with it. It's still one of our favorite pieces, man. We have many arrangements in our playlist that we listen to of that piece.
That's great. That's good. Well, it's a great arrangement, man. So that's the Mays High School Jazz Orchestra. So I mean, those folks, you put some time in with them, and you can hear the maturity in the band and the professionalism that they presented based on your leadership. So thank you for that, man.
And me as a leader, yes, Dion, but it's important to understand. You remember that collaboration that I talked about earlier with all the stakeholders?
Right.
Those kids literally came to me like that from their middle school director, who was Mr. Robert Jeffrey, still a good close friend of mine. And here's the lineage right here. Robert Jeffrey's high school band director was the great saxophone player Ron Carter in East St. Louis.
Okay.
So see, that lineage starts to connect.
Right.
You know, so those kids are being taught by somebody. His director was Ron Carter. My director, James Parson, who knew each other and played with each other at one time as well. Now their directors are able to bring them authentic music,
right? Not
just stock arrangements, but they're able to really get into the thick of things and start to learn what they're doing. That saxophone player, his parents are jazz musicians. You could tell. You know, that's not going to happen in middle and high school.
Well, he did a great job.
He did a great job, and his parents supported the fine arts in our community and played a lot. In fact, his parents played around midnight for me and my wife when I proposed to my wife at Dante's Down the Hatch in Atlanta, Georgia.
Nice, beautiful.
Yeah, so it's all connected there. So this music means a lot to me, as you can tell.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, I want to keep going because time is kind of nipping at us. But you shared another song, and this song is this actual presentation is from another one from the Clark Atlanta University Jazz Orchestra, and this is entitled "It Don't Mean a Thing If It Ain't Got That Swing." Let's check it out.
Everybody knows that one. Let's check it out.
What I do, ski-wee do, what I do, do. It don't mean a thing. All you got to do is swing. Makes no difference if it's sweet or hot. Give that rhythm everything you got. It don't mean a thing if you ain't got that swing.
If you ain't got the swing.
It ain't got it. It don't mean a thing if it ain't got a swing. Yes. You know what I enjoy about that, man? The plunger is like, that's like such a unique thing, man.
It really is, man. It really is. That arrangement was put together by Dr. Patterson at Clark University. It was manuscript that he pulled off of listening to different arrangements.
Right.
To figure out how to make the horns and the plunger sound like voices.
Yeah, yeah.
So that, he worked on that a lot. Worked on that an awful lot. That vocalist is Chanel Mosley Childers.
Okay.
We graduated together from Clark University, and she's now a music educator.
Nice.
And she still sings with the Alumni Jazz Orchestra.
Beautiful. It's a great arrangement of Duke Ellington classic. Well done. Well done. Well, man, we've covered some the big band stuff in high school, Clark Atlanta University Jazz Orchestra, but as a band director, you're called upon to do other things, and you shared with us a really beautiful video of Mays High School marching band, and we've never presented a marching band on Sounds of the Diaspora before.
That's the reason why I'm here, man. That's the real reason why you wanted me to be here.
I just want you to show, because again, I keep saying this, we always look at who's on the stage, but we don't see what's happening behind it. So let's just play this video so we could check out Mays High School marching band, and we'll talk about that concept of a marching band briefly afterwards. Let's check it out. Okay, so that's the marching band up in the stands, and it was great that you shared that because you could see like the whole band just kind of laid out on the stand. Tell
That's
us
one of the reasons why I wanted you to see that from first. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So tell us briefly about the marching band environment.
So just as we talked about earlier, with the marching band being the face, if you will, of our HBCUs, it's really when we came to work with the teachers in the BVI, that's a lot of their questions were based upon what they see on YouTube and other platforms about HBCUs. So it's quite evident that when the alums from HBCUs go and become music educators, different aspects of their program are going to mirror what some of their schooling looks like.
Right.
In those communities, they want marching bands to really look like what their community want and what they want to thrive in that area. The community really supported that program, and it supported that program at Mays High School since 1980. I was only 3 years old at the time. But even at that point, as Sumner Smith was beginning that program, he went to Morris Brown College, and he started to pattern his program after the likes of Morris Brown College. Mm-hmm. And when I went to school there, that's what we did. Yes, you have a little flavor of Florida A&M or a little flavor of Jackson State here and there because of some of the songs they played, but eventually that's what we wanted to do. But a lot of the schools in the Atlanta area patterned themselves after Florida A&M. Florida A&M had a huge presence in the Atlanta area. So when I became first director of advance at Avondale High School, when I left Booker T. Washington High School and when I went to DeKalb County, I wanted to do something different than what everybody else was doing. I was thankful that the director there before me had participated in both the Jackson State and Southern University bands, so that style was already there. So I had to go and learn that style and learn more about it to keep that going because I wanted to stay different than what everybody else was doing.
Right.
I spent time in Baton Rouge with Dr. Isaac Greggs, who was the longtime director of bands at Southern University, to learn more about what they were doing and how they did it. So we started to pattern a lot of what we did at Avondale High School after Southern University. So when I went to Mississippi Delta Community College and I went to, back to Mays High School to teach, that's what we did. We did those things to stay different, to stay relevant as well, and to give something to the community that they could be proud of.
Well, that's great, man. I mean, it's just a huge, undertaking to just, put a marching band together and do it right. First of all. Yeah. And to have a successful program, not only just marching band, but just have a successful music program when the students can learn the aesthetics of, music theory and concert band and wind ensemble, and still have participated in a collective as marching band. Because like we mentioned, most universities, when you see a marching band, well, at least 80% of it is non-music majors. Whereas when you see, the jazz ensemble or the concert band, it's made up more of of music majors. I mean, you have other folks participating as well, but that's just something where non-music majors can participate, and it's like collective representation for the university and the community. It's a huge thing.
Cultural thing. It's a culture. It represents the culture of the area, just like the music in the BVI represents the culture of that area.
Right. Exactly.
I'm glad I mentioned Avondale High School because I saw one of our viewers post on here, Mr. Leo Goodson, who was one of my first trumpet section leaders at Avondale High School back at my second school teaching. So good. Thank you, Leo, for checking in today.
Great. Well, man, we're almost out of time, but I think we got one more. You shared a video of
I think you want to see the drum line, man.
Huh?
You want to see the drum line.
I want to see the drum line. I got to see this. I got to see the drum line, man.
I got a funny story about the drum line. So show the drum line, man.
We're gonna show the drum line, man. Let's just close out with a drum line, then you can tell your story. This is a Mays High School drum line. Okay, I'm good now. I saw the drum line. I'm good.
You're a drummer, man. You had to get some drums. But the funny thing about that video, and I had a great line of percussion instructors that worked with us. And they were mostly alumni of the school, but we did have a couple that were not alumni of the school that worked with them, and they kept the work going. So shout out to all those percussion instructors that worked with me at all the schools that I worked at. Interesting thing about one of the members of that drum line, well, two of them, in fact, that student I talked about that's at the LA field right now, he's in that drum line.
Okay.
Not only that, but if you watch the show Wild 'N Out and you see the comedian DC Youngfly, he's in that drum line too.
Oh, no kidding. Okay. Look at that. You never know where the students are gonna end up, man.
You just don't know, man. Just thankful that that I've been able to positively affect students along the way. So I appreciate the ability to be able to teach and to be able to have the opportunity to teach throughout the years, and to now be in the music industry and to positively affect music education in a way that will sustain it for the foreseeable future. Right.
Well, man, you're doing an awesome job, man. You've done an awesome job, and I think all the experiences you've had as an educator, working in Mars, in sales and all of that has prepared you for where you are, and you're traveling the country, man. Just doing your thing and assisting music educators and music education programs around the country. So continued success to you. Thank you for being on the show, man. And I look forward to continue working with you in the future, man.
Absolutely, man. We got a trip to the BVI coming up in February. So music education is thriving in the BVI. Dion Parson, you're doing a great job in the U.S. Virgin Islands as well at the university. And I appreciate you for making sure that music education is thriving on the islands, all the islands over there as well. So I appreciate you, man, and look forward to working with you too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. Well, you have a good one, man. You take care, and I'll see you soon.
Yes, sir.
Okay. That was the one and only Dr. William Earvin sharing his story with us, doing a great job, man. And we will be seeing more of him and having more conversations. So we thank him for joining us tonight. Come back and join us next week at Sounds on the Diaspora. We bring to you one of my dearest friends, man. This gentleman is amazing, not only as a performer, a percussionist, composer, arranger, and producer, but he's a hell of a repairman, man. I just saw him in New York City helping me fix some stuff, man, and he's doing a great job just representing on the scene. He has a band called La Familia, and I hope you guys come back next week and join me as I present to you Mr. Willie Martinez on Sounds of the Diaspora. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you guys tonight. Thank you on behalf of Dr. William Earvin, our guest, and we look forward to seeing you next week. We wish you all a beautiful evening. Have a good night.